You and your goblin gang enter the dark cave to hunt for treasure, herd rebellious goats, and shove each other into cave-ins in Goats and Goblins.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play Goats and Goblins, game designed by Sam Stockton and published by BA Games. And check out the link to the project page in the video description below.
And hi everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant, welcome to Meeple University.
And hey, if you enjoyed this video after watching, like, subscribe and comments, you know what to do. Okay, now let's get to the classroom.
Goats and Goblins is a push your luck game for 2 to 6 goblin players trying to explore and earn their riches in the local caves. Round by round, a cave leader declares how deep to dig in the cave, while other players decide whether they're in or out of this exploration. Then card by card you'll explore, finding treasures, goats, goblins, and other helpful goodies to share among the explorers. But expeditioners will need to watch out for cave-ins, since 3 cave-ins will end their dig, as well as watching out for the special effects of those who might seek to sabotage. Whoever earns the most treasure by the time the entire cave deck has been explored will be the winner. To set up the game, give each player one of the in and out voting cards, and 2 cards from the blue-backed starter deck, 1 Seeing Stone and 1 Push 2. Unused cards of both types are returned to the box. Randomly choose 1 player to be the first round's cave leader. The remaining cards all have the same backs and should be split into 2 piles. The cave-ins, which are every cave-in card, numbered 1, 2 or 3, and the gold cards, which are everything else, treasures, goblins, goats, and other special cards, all of which may have a gold value at game's end. To prepare the game's deck, shuffle each pile separately, and then, to prevent perfect card counting, you'll remove 4 cards. To do this, take 4 gold cards, and take 4 cave-in cards, and then shuffle those 8 cards together, remove 4 of those, and finally shuffle everything else together into a single deck. This deck is called the Cave Deck. You're now ready to play. Goats and Goblins plays in a series of turns, each representing a single exploration of the caves. To begin each exploration, a single player is the cave leader, and that player declares how deep this exploration will go into the cave. The cave leader must declare a number of cards, which is at least 3, but can be as high as the leader wants. The cave leader's vote card must be set to in. Let's suppose here the cave leader chooses 5. All other players now simultaneously and secretly decide whether they want to be in or out of this exploration. Players select their choices using these cards, keeping them secret and then revealing them simultaneously. Once that's done, it's time to proceed. The cave leader, one at a time, flips cards from the top of the cave deck, hoping to see as much treasure as possible. The more treasure is flipped, the more potential riches are on offer at the end of this exploration. What the cave leader does not want to see are cave-ins. If the declared number of cards is drawn, and the sum of all numbers on cave-in cards is less than 3, then this exploration is a success. Discard any cave-ins from the game, and the cave leader now gathers up all remaining cards and distributes them as evenly as possible among the players who were in on this exploration. To be clear, evenly is counted by number of cards, not value of treasure. This would be considered a valid equitable distribution. And if the number of cards can't be equally distributed, the cave leader decides who gets 1 more and who gets 1 fewer. Any cards gained are added face up to the player's play areas. On the other hand, if you reach a total of 3 or more cave-in value, and this could include drawing one of the triple cave-in cards, Then the exploration fails and you stop drawing cards, even if you're short of the declared number of cards. Again, discard the cave-ins. The remaining gold cards are distributed to the players who voted out. However, this is done randomly and face down, not face up like for a successful exploration. These are again distributed as evenly as possible, and the cave leader decides who gets the extra card if there's an inequitable number. The new owners may look at these cards privately, but do not have to reveal them to the other players. Now hand the cave leader card one step to the left and continue with the next round following the same rules. Players start with 2 action cards and may gain more as part of explorations. And these cards offer players the opportunities to influence or sabotage an exploration. At any time during the game, any player, whether in or out, may play an action card at any time. When you play a card, resolve its effect, and then discard it from the game. A player may also choose to play a card directly in response to another player's card. And when this happens, stack any response cards and then resolve them from last played to first played. Once an exploration has reached its declared number of cards, or failed due to a cave-in, players still have one more opportunity to play action cards. But once everyone has declared they're finished and the cave leader begins distributing the cards, no more action cards may be played until the moment that the cave leader card passes to the next player. The different action cards are as follows. There's the Seeing Stone. Play this to look at the next card and then choose whether to discard it or return it to the top of the deck. This is a good way for in players to check for and get rid of cave-ins, or for out players to try to get rid of good treasures from promising explorations. You could even use one to check the top card before deciding whether to go in or out. Push 2 or push 3 are used to increase the declared number of the cave leader. So if this were a declared 4, the out player could play push 2 to try to force it further into a cave-in. In players might also push on a good exploration if they're feeling lucky. Gruff, the greatest goat of all time, has the ability to destroy a cave-in card after it's been drawn. Play the Gruff card, discard Gruff and the cave-in from the game. The destroyed cave-in still counts towards this exploration depth, so in this case this would be an exploration of 5. With Flip a Vote, choose any player other than the cave leader and flip their vote from out to in or in to out. A good way to get in on some lucrative rewards, or perhaps prevent a leading player from getting too much of an advantage. There's also Flip All Votes. Spend that to flip all players' votes except the cave leader. All ins become outs and all outs become ins. To be clear, nothing can affect a cave leader's in vote. The cave leader is the one leading this exploration. They will always be considered part of the in team. You can play a herding crook at any time during an exploration, and at the end of that exploration, whether it was a success or failure and whether you were in or out, after players have finished playing action cards but before the cave leader distributes the treasure, discard the herding crook to take one goat or goblin from the display. The cave leader then evenly distributes only the cards which remain. Finally, the warding stone cancels other actions. If a player plays an action card, then an opponent may play a warding stone on it to cancel its effect. Once the draw deck is running low, the cave leader is not allowed to declare an exploration depth which is deeper than the number of cards remaining. The game then ends at the end of the exploration where there are no cards left in the deck, or at the start of the exploration where only 1 or 2 cards remain, since this is not enough to make the minimum declaration of 3. Players now count up their final scores. Standard treasure cards are worth as many coins as shown at the top of the card. Each unplayed action card scores 1 coin. Goblins score 3 coins each if you have an even number of goblins, or 2 coins each if you have an odd number. This is an even number, so this would be 3 coins each for 6. Goats score 3 coins each if you have an odd number of goats, and 2 coins each otherwise. And do note, if you're still holding an unspent Gruff the Goat card, this counts as a goat for the purposes of this count, although the Gruff card itself scores as an action card. That means I'd have 3 goats here, an odd number, so 6 coins for these 2 standard goats, and 1 coin for Gruff. The player with the most coins wins. If tied, then the tied player with the most goats wins, then the tied player with the most goblins, then whoever has the fewest cards, and if still tied, victory is shared. The rules just described are the standard rules which involve the voting. You always play those rules with 4 or more players. There's also a variant to the rules which does not involve using the voting cards. You must play the voteless variant with 2 players, while at 3 players you may choose to use either the voting or the voteless variant. In the voteless variant, leave the vote cards in the box, as well as any action cards related to flipping votes. Then each round, the cave leader, rather than pre-declaring a number of cards from the cave deck, simply draws cards one after the other, trying to get as much treasure as possible, until they choose to stop. If they choose to stop before there's a cave-in, then the cave leader gains all of the treasure they found. However, if they keep pushing until they get to 3 cave-ins, then the exploration fails, and all the cards are discarded. They are not distributed to the other player or players. All action cards still apply as usual, and you can use the push cards to try to force your opponent to dig deeper even when they think they've chosen to stop. You always play until the entire deck runs out, even if the cave leader has fewer than 3 cards at the start of a round, and then count up the final amount of treasure in the usual way.
Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, maybe you'd like to watch this next one. Have a great day. Bye!